Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on CapnclydesMTG. It's after the holidays with the New Year's coming up. We're going to have a box opening of MH2 and all kinds of other good things to start out the new year. But first, let's look at the set that closes out the year, because as I was going through and looking at all these sets skyrocketing and things changing and card spikes, I just can't help get over the fact that maybe Duskmourn was the best set of the year. So, with all that said, before we get into it, don't forget, comment, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. The comments down below feed the YouTube algorithm. Links in the description, eBay, TCG Player Store. All the cards can be bought there. Become a member on YouTube, Patreon. There's all kinds of crap down there. So, without that and all things said and further ado and what have you, let's take a look at Duskmourn and what has started out as a decent set, which kind of curved off to suddenly rise to serious popularity with some of the most impressive standard value cards and playability that I think we've seen in a set in a long time. So, and we're going to start that off with the easiest part, the land cycle. So, the Verge cycle inside of Duskmourn is a very popular cycle. With the Verges coming in around anywhere from $5 to $8, give or take. Just the ability that it comes into play untapped. For an example, it has a main color, let's say black. And the offshoot is if you have a swamp or a mountain, it also produces red. Basically says that this is always a mountain or always a swamp. With the biggest thing being, you can tap it for red only if you control a swamp or a mountain, but it always taps for black. So with this is as close as we're going to get to a dual land, especially that it comes into play untapped. The Verges are huge. I mean, the only thing that's even close to being as good as these throughout the year that's been released is really the Surveil lands that came out of Thunder Junction, as they are actually dual lands with two kind of land symbols on them and can be fetched. So, and the ability they come to play tap, unfortunately, but they do let you Surveil to set up the top of your deck for the next draw. These cards are, as far as land goes, really powerful in Standard. And I think the price tag is starting to show that. As they were popular to begin with, they started to plummet down like most the set did. But as Standard picks up, this card value is just, it's kind of all over the place. But if you look, it's on the rise, and I think it's just going to keep going. And that's for the whole land cycle. So moving on, past the lands, we have actual playable cards. We have the Oculus. In the spoiler of this, we'll say, I mentioned several times how this card was severely underrated as a 3-mana 5/5 flyer that lets you basically put a 2/2 into play every upkeep, and the different ways you could get this onto the battlefield. And not many people took note of it until people actually started playing it when the card came out, as it then suddenly spiked to, we'll say, the foil here is sporting a $40 value, and I think the regular ones are anywhere from $25 to probably $30, depending on grade. We're not seeing this as much as we would in standard decks per se, but in the older formats, this thing is house. And I think that's going to be really wild to see how this thing develops as standard develops throughout 2025. Next, we have another high-value card in the set. We have Leyline of Resonance. Now, I know, but Captain, this card's only $1.50. Why is this card so good? Well, if you look at what it does, this card is probably one of the very first cards in a standard set in a long time that took a banning because of how powerful it was in certain decks, especially in formats where you couldn't sideboard. So, on Arena, this card was banned because in the one-of decks, if you didn't start a way to deal with an enchantment, this thing would just kill you. And it's still a popular card. It still sees some play. It's still good. It's just not as good as it could be after, several bannings and so forth, and people realizing what the card does, which has caused a serious decline. But again, how often do we see new ley lines come out that are as popular as this? Or get banned. So moving on, we have the enduring or endurance cycle of the sets of this set, which has proved to be one of the best cycles probably since the Titan cycle, i.e. Primeval, Sun Titan, Grave Titan, yada, yada, yada. But they're even cheaper. They're enchantments. When they leave play, they come back, so you still get their ability, but they're a creature first, and they're just good. One example here, we have the red one, which is a 3/3. Another creature comes into play, it gains haste, +2/+0. I mean, that's kind of huge. That's just really good. And this is probably, to be fair, one of the weaker endurances in the set, and it's still powerful. Part of many good combo decks and other things. It's just insane. And as you can see, like most of the endurance cycle, it started off low and is now up to the 350 range. I mean, 368% increase, and just going up as standard gets firing on all cylinders. Some of the other enduring cycles, we have the enduring of tenacity. This one where, whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. This has been a hot topic for many commander and other decks throughout the times. Again, people didn't realize that was a thing. Plus, it's a 4/3. It can deal damage. And if it dies, it comes back into play as enchantment. You have to kill it twice, which makes it even better, unless you exile it. So as you can see, it's picked up in value. It has come down a lot as this style of gain life decks has kind of tapered off a little bit. But still, I mean, when you start off around $2 to $2.50, you get up to $4, $4.50. I mean, 50% increase. Plus sporting a $5 to $7 price tag. Currently $9 is the highest one available, or the cheapest one available. That, I mean, pretty much says a lot about the card and how well it's been doing. Some of the other endurings that are also good. We have the Enduring Innocence. This one's only a 3 mana. Lets you draw cards when 2 or less power creature comes into play. Don't forget that this Sheep Glimmer, quote unquote, is not legendary. So if you play 4 of these, every time you put one of these in play, they trigger each other. And then they become enchantments that still trigger off each other. It's incredibly insane. You can see, again, started off around $2, spiked as people started realizing how good it was, came down as more went into the market, but we're still settling around, like, I mean, we're looking at a $12 card sitting here, but normal market price is around $7 or $8, which is still, I mean, starting off a little bit above $2. If it's a $6 card, that's a 300% increase after the fact. And after Duskmourn has been out for a while, all these cards bringing in very high dollar value compared to other standard sets which haven't seen this kind of success. The Enduring Vitality is sporting up to a $20 value. Starting off in the same range, nobody thought it would be good. Who would have thought? Making all your creature mana dorks are insanely good. Not to mention that it targets itself, so it's its own mana dork, and it has Vigilance, and it's a 3/3 for 3. Yeah. So a median price around $9. I mean, let's say 10, starting off around 3. Again, 300% increase, high dollar value, and again, guys, these are the base set cards. These are not full art anime style, like cards, fractured foils, cards with some real value. These are the cheapest versions inside Duskmourn, and it's really making me rethink about how valuable this set really is. Once we get out of the Enduring cycle, we have the Overlord cycle. They're all over the place. Some are good, some are bad. Probably one of the best ones is the Hunt Lord. You can see almost all of the Overlord cycle looks something like this. It's insane. Up, down, up, down, up, down. But still, I mean, hovering around $20, and it's a whole nother cycle of one for every color. And they're all seeing play in some way, shape, or form. It's just insane how many cards in this set are holding value and seeing play in not just standard, but in all formats. And not just Commander either. We have Kato coming back, the Bane of Nightmares, becoming very popular with the new Demons deck in Standard. As you see here, starting out close to probably, I would say, $7, spiking up to $25 now, as that deck has done well at the Pro Tour. Again, another card from Duskmourn that is coming in highly priced. And again, this is the base value cheapest card. This is not the anime, not the full art, not a fractured foil. Like, there's so many cool treatments in this product that it's kind of insane to think that these are the cheapest versions of these cards. So, and as we keep going, we have another very popular one, Screaming Nemesis, starting out around, I don't know, what is that? We'll say 10 to be nice. Now it's up to 33. Again, the cheapest version, non-foil, like seeing play in everything from Modern, Standard, Commander, you name it. A Pioneer, it's everywhere. Again, just a testament to how well this set's performing, 90 days, 60 days after release. So we have the big hitter here, Fear of Missing Out. This thing has become extremely popular, sporting now a $20 price tag, as it started out around $250. I mean, we're talking, Jesus, what is that, 1,000% increase? This is starting to see play in Modern, Pioneer decks. The draw and discard ability, the take an extra combat phase and untap something ability. It's just absurd how good the FOMO is. Get it? How good the FOMO is? Fear of missing out. Anyway, yeah, this card, again, insanely valuable. And if we look at it as a whole, Duskmourn may just be one of the most successful sets of 2024. And who knows? I mean, that may not change for quite some time. But hey, who knows? Aether Drift's coming out here in February, and we all know what happened last time I went to this world. So, yeah. So until next time, be kind, and as always, I hope to see you across from the game table.